American Eagles Swimming is live from Washington, D.C. We welcome you to Fraley Pool here on the campus of American University in the nation's capital for the Eagles dual meet against the Mountaineers of Mount St. Mary's. Ben Curtis here with you. So glad you've chosen to spend some of your Friday afternoon with us here in the nation's capital poolside here for this dual meet. And for Mount St. Mary's, the first dual meet in quite some time since November the 14th when they fell to crosstown rival of American Howard University. The Mount 1 and 2 in dual meets so far this season, but coming off of that ECAC Winter Championships for which they were invited, coming in fourth place, both the men and women's team, including fourth place out of 12 on the men's side of things. It was a really impressive performance in East Meadow, New York, for Mount St. Mary's Swimming. And on the other side of things, American looking to get back to work after they too themselves have had nearly 2 months off. They last competed in the George Mason Patriot Invitational. The women came in 6th place out of the 8 teams. So too did the men, but now that we have turned the corner into 2026 and the conference championships loom for each of these two programs in only about a month, it's the kind of the part of the season where you really want to start to turn your corner. You want to start to hit your taper properly and roll into conference championships for American. That means the Patriot League in Annapolis on February the 18th through 21st. Just about exactly 1 month away. Mount St. Mary's will be even 1 week earlier. The MAAC will be the 11th through the 14th in Geneva, Ohio. It is coming up quickly. It is senior day here at Fraley Pool. We'll honor some seniors that have contributed so much to American University swimming over the years. That ceremony coming up momentarily. Before that, we'll run you through the order of events. We'll begin with a 3-meter diving, 200 medley relay, 1,000 freestyle. That'll be a different kind of swim compared to what Mount St. Mary's did last of the ECACs when they swam the 1650. We do imagine that we'll see swimmers such as Megan Price being an important part of that fold for Mount St. Mary's. We are hearing that there might be some absences for American. We'll try to keep you updated on all of that as soon as possible, but we are hearing that some star swimmers, including potentially Piper Crosby, may be unavailable for American today. Then the 200 freestyle will go into the splash and dash 50 freestyle. 200-yard individual medley relay will be the last swimming event before the break. We'll go down a little bit to the 1-meter diving, and then after the diving, we'll have the 100 butterfly, 100 freestyle, 100 backstroke, 500 free, 100 breaststroke, and then we'll end with the always thrilling 200-yard freestyle relay. American and Mount St. Mary's haven't swam one-on-one in a dual meet since October of 2023, I should say, in Emmitsburg. And the women's team won that one for American. The Mount men took on that victory. So far this year, though, for American, it has been a lot of those dual meets in the early part of the season. A victory for the women against UMBC. Victory for the women, too, against Catholic and Howard. And that dual meet against Navy, Bucknell, and Lafayette. The women and the men both came in second. It has been a stronger performance for the women's side this year. The men still looking for just their second dual meet victory of the season. They also took down the Cardinals of Catholic here at Reeves Aquatic Center. That was back on October the 18th. That was also the last time that the Eagles have swam competitively in this pool. So nearly 3 months later, another opportunity for them to get one more chance to swim here at Fraley Pool before heading on to their final dual meets of the season. AU will be back in action down in Norfolk, Virginia a week from today to take on Old Dominion. They'll head up to Annapolis on the final day of January for the Navy Invitational, hosted by Navy, and then it is on to the Patriot League Championships. Up next on the other side of things for Mount St. Mary's, only one more dual meet coming before conference tournament time, and it is very quickly. Just on the other side of the weekend, they'll be in Easton, Pennsylvania on Monday to take on Lafayette, another Patriot League rival of American. It is the Eagles and the Mountaineers getting set to go. Ben Curtis here with you, poolside from Washington, D.C. So glad you've chosen to spend some of your afternoon with us. We'll get set to get into our senior day festivities. 12 seniors getting set to be honored here at Fraley Pool. Good crowd emerging despite the time of day on a weekday. just beyond the windows here at Fraley Pool, looking in downstairs to where the athletes are starting to gather. And we'll be able to have what is always one of the highlights of any season in college sports, the ability for not only the fans to be able to recognize the seniors, but their fellow teammates to be able to do so as well, for families to be able to be honored for the sacrifices that they made at the high school level and at the club level, getting these student athletes to where they are in college and supporting them beyond. Emotional day for sure. It is bittersweet for so many of these athletes who know that they will only have one more opportunity to compete here in this pool, in which they spent countless hours that don't show up on the air, that don't show up in recaps or on team websites or on scoreboards. But it is really where they forged the connections that college sports are all about. And we are just waiting momentarily for that to begin. Once we do get into the 3-meter diving, be an opportunity for a Mount St. Mary's team that doesn't get to have that many 3-meter dive opportunities. In fact, they did not have any 3-meter divers in the AC Winter Championship. So a good opportunity for Mount St. Mary's to pick up a little bit of reps from the 3-meter before they will have to compete in that if they have any chance at the MAAC Championships, as we mentioned, coming up in just a couple of weeks in Geneva, Ohio. So it'll be a really good opportunity for the Mount to get some reps from the 3-meter dive. We'll really be looking at that sprint right before the break. The 50-meter freestyle going to feature, you can imagine, Eve Phillips, the freshman, and Christine Lazari, the senior for Mount St. Mary's. Lazari has been so much fun to watch in her time with the Mountaineers, winning the 100-yard freestyle at 51.21 in the ECAC, and was only 0.02 seconds off of Mount St. Mary's record. It is senior day time, so we'll send things over to the PA announcer poolside for our senior day ceremony.
From the AU, here to congratulate seniors, our head associate head coach Matt McKinney, assistant coaches Beth O'Connor Baker, Caitlin Moley, diving assistant Sasha Luke, athletic director Jocelyn Hill, and director of athletics and record here at American University, J.M. Kapara. Now let's hear for our first senior, Daniel Coughlin. A butterfly specialist with the 11. Best time in school history in the 200 butterfly, part of 4 top 16 relays, including the 400 medley, and the second best time in program history. As a junior, he won 3 meets in the 100 and 200 butterfly. Last season, he posted one of the top 25 cumulative GPAs among all AU student athletes. A biology major, patriot, the academic honor roll student, hailing from McLean, Virginia, joined by parents Emiko and Michael. Let's hear it for Daniel Coughlin.
So Daniel Coughlin, the first to be recognized from Langley High School, just down the road, the butterfly specialist.
Diving, Maggie Fanning. Her personal best ranked 12th all-time here at AU on both the 1 and 3 meter. A psychology major, named to the Patriot League academic honor roll since transferring to AU. Hailing from Chicago, Illinois, and joined Fritz Fanning and Dad John Paul Fanning. Let's hear it for Maggie Fanning.
We'll see Fanning on the diving board in just a little bit, one of 2-star divers on the women's side of things for American.
Next, please welcome the versatile swimmer, Colin Chu. 100, 200 free, 200 and 400 IM, and the 1,000 freestyle during his career. He had a personal record in the 1,000 free last year at the ECAC Championships. A public relations and strategic communication major hailing from Long Beach, California, joined today by parents Darren Jew and Dawn Forley. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Colin Jew!
One of the more versatile swimmers on American Swim, as short as a 50-yard free and as long as a 1650.
Is Gabby Keselowski! She holds top 16 times at AU in the 100 fly and 200 IM, as well as the 200-yard medley relay. For the past 2 years, her cumulative GPA has been among the top 25 of all AU student athletes. A neuroscience major and 3-time Patriot League Academic Honor Roll recipient. From Haddon Heights, New Jersey, joined today by parents Lisa and Dave and sister Margot. Let's hear it for Gabby Keselowski! I am pleased to introduce our next senior, Veronica Lester! A butterfly specialist whose best time was from the 2024 Patriot League Championship. All-time in school history, an American government and justice and law major, a 3-time Patriot League Academic Honor Roll recipient. From Norwalk, Connecticut, joined today by parents Terry and Jim. Let's hear it for Veronica Lester! Please welcome our next senior, the school record holder, Izzy McGovern! She captured 2 individual victories in the Patriot Invite, and an individual 200 free school record as part of the record-setting 800 free relay. In all, Isabel's name has appeared 22 times on AU's all-time top 16 list, including the second fastest time in the 100 fly, third 200 fly, and fourth fastest in the 200 IM. 3-time finalist at last year's Patriot League champion, winner of the C final in the 200 fly, psychology major, Patriot League honor roll student from Lexington, Massachusetts, joined today by her parents Jane and Tom. Let's hear it for McGovern! Please welcome our next senior, Maddie Morris! A butterfly specialist, has the program's 12th fastest time in the 200 fly from last year's Patriot Invite. Patriot League Academic Honor Roll student each year at AAU as a double major in psychology and business administration. Hailing from Chagrin Falls, Ohio, joined today by his parents, Michael and Sonali. Please, let's hear it from Madeline Morris! Also, I forgot, please welcome his sister, Jordan. Let's make some noise for our next senior, a 2-time school record holder, Dylan Wilson! Dylan has 9 top 16 times in school history as part of the school records in the 200 free and 400 free relays. Or 53 from the 2024 Patriot League Championship, ranked 10th all time. A neuroscience major, a Patriot League academic honor roll student, each of her 2 full years at AAU. A native of St. Louis, Missouri, joined today by her parents, Sherry and Jeff, Aunt Lisa Liebschutz, and sister Jordan. Let's hear it for Dylan Olsen! Next, would you please welcome breaststroke specialist, Grace Matz. Grace holds top 8 times at AAU in the 100 and 200 breaststroke. C-final winner in the 200 at last year's Patriot League meet. Psychology major, 4-year Eagle, named to the Patriot League academic honor this year. A native of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, joined today by parents Anna and Brian. Let's hear it for Grace Matz. Please welcome our next senior, 4-year Eagle, Todd O'Malley. A freestyle specialist who has already posted times in 7 different individual events for AAU this year. In Student Athlete Success Program Award recipient last year, Patriot League academic honor roll student each year as Information Systems Technology major. Hailing from Richfield, Connecticut, and joined today by parents and Lenny. Let's hear it for Todd O'Malley. Put your hands together for our next senior, 4-year diver, Peyton Thurman. Peyton's best score, a 261.3-meter event, ranks 5th all-time at AAU. With their best score on the 1-meter event at 257 is 6th. She's earned numerous dual meet victories on both boards, and been both a B and C finalists in the Patriot League Championship. Education and Strategic Communication major, Patriot League academic honor roll student each year. Native of Richfield, Ohio, joined today by her mother Megan, best friend Ro Crawford. Let's hear it for Peyton Thurman. And now, let's make some noise. Final senior, Natalie Webb. While her career has been hampered by injury, she's remained committed to helping the team in any way possible. Graduating in just 3 years with a degree in Business Administration, a Dean's List student, as well as a Patriot League academic honor roll student. A native of Gaithersburg, Maryland, joined today by parents Ella and Philip, grandfather Greg, brother Aaron, and sister Sophie. Let's hear it for Natalie Webb.
Because our two, well, our, this is probably mainly because that's why I feel that
Teammates, friends, and family, I want to thank you for your hard work and dedication to the swimming and diving program here at American University. We wish you nothing but the best in your future professional and educational endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the AAU swinging and diving class of 2026.
One of the great events of the year, as the seniors are honored here at Fraley Pool on Senior Day as we get set for this dual meet, the final home dual meet of the year between the American Eagles and the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers, and it starts coming up next. We welcome you back here to Fraley Pool here in Washington, D.C. as we get set to begin this dual meet between the Eagles of America and the Mountaineers of Mount St. Mary's. Ben Curtis here with you live from our nation's capital. Appreciate you joining us here on this Friday afternoon. Again, in case you're just tuning in, we're getting started a little bit delayed because of the wonderful Senior Day ceremony, excellently put on. Whole operations team at American got the smoke machine going, created a great atmosphere to honor the seniors. A certainly worthwhile afternoon of ceremony. And now we get set to begin the first in our order of events. We'll start out with a 3-meter diving, then the 200 medley relay, the 1,000-yard freestyle, 200-yard free, 50-yard free splash and dash, 200 IM. Then we'll go to the 1-meter diving, the 100 butterfly, 100 freestyle, 100 backstroke, 500 free, 100 breast, and 200 freestyle relay. That's what is on the docket for this afternoon as we begin with the diving portion of the afternoon. Julie Euchre will get things going, the freshman from Connecticut. Only 4 divers in total, 3 of them American Eagles, 5.5 for both of the 2 judges. Now the first of the 2 female 3-meter divers today for American. They will both be seniors. Maggie Fanning and Peyton Thurman, who both got honored before in that Senior Day ceremony, both getting the chance for one more go-round from the 3-meter. Here at Fraley Pool in their career. Opening of the 6 dives results in a 5.5 for both of the judges. Of course, then you take that against the multiplier.
105B24.
The lone male diver for American at the 3-meter will be the freshman Alex Way, the Falls Church, Virginia native, getting a good opportunity to get some reps from the 3-meter, the VHSL diving state champion at Meridian High School just down the road. Way, the lone male diver from the 3-meter in this competition. On Senior Day, it's the freshman Way who gets an opportunity, and a 6 from one judge, 6.5 from the other. Good start for Alex Way, and now Peyton Thurman will get the chance to get her first dive of Senior Day. Thurman has had just a tremendous career. That PR of 261.15 is 5th all-time at American on the 3-meter board. She's been a B finalist and a C finalist at the Patriot League Championships, and you know this upcoming February she's going to be looking to get into that final 8, a 6 and a 6.5 from the 2 judges to begin things. As Euchre will get back to work for Mount St. Mary's. Another young diver going with the reverse, and a 5.5 and a 6 from the 2 judges. Or the second of the 6 dives for Euchre. Now Fanning back to work for her second dive. You'll take that score that the 2 judges had, you'll multiply it by the degree of difficulty and add up the 6 to tally up the final scores. That will add up to the points and help one of these 2 teams deliver a dual meet win by the end of the day. And it is fitting that on senior day we get a little bit of the old guard and a little bit of the new at the diving board for American. Of course, Thurman and Fanning, the seniors who have been with this program for so long, and Alex Way, very much the future of this AU diving program on both the 1 meter and the 3 meter. And then Navy quad meet, his 279.4 ranked 8th all time in AU history. Still just a freshman with so much promise. And what a huge get it was for the Eagles to get the state champion to stay home, and a 6 from both of the judges. Now here is Thurman for her final dive of round number 2. She's been a tremendous student at American as well as an excellent athlete, Patriot League academic honor roll student each and every year she's been with the Eagles. Five and a half from both of the judges. It's been a pretty consistent start through 2 rounds.
4:03 C 2-2.
Julie Euchre placed 4th in the 1 meter dive in that dual meet against VMI. It was the, at the time, 21st dual meet victory in a row against VMI for Mount St. Mary's. Streak that dates back to 2006. They have had the Keydets number. Third dive of the day for Euchre results in a 6 and a 6.5.
1:03 D 1-6.
So here's Fanning for her third dive. Divers going halfway through now. Euchre placed 4th, as we mentioned, in that event. She had a 140.85. That's a strong score for, again, just a young diver, a freshman from Ridgefield, Connecticut. But it is all about the seniors today. And Fanning, very much one of them. Five and a half for Fanning, who is in year number 3 with the Eagles after spending 1 year at Case Western. It's been a really welcome addition the past couple of seasons for AU. Way's third dive, plenty aerial, but might have just under-rotated a little bit. 3 and 3.5. And Way knew it immediately coming out of the pool. The body language showing that he didn't quite get the rotation on that one. But freshman with so much promise, still with 3 more dives left. Final diver of round number 3 will be Thurman. Going through each of their rotations for the final time. And on senior day, it isn't just about the emotion of having to compete and get ready to compete, but about the highs and the lows of going from that big emotional ceremony of the senior day before the meet begins to going again and having to lock in for a competition in what is such a mental sport already like diving. Can be a really difficult test to navigate those emotions. On to round number 4 now, and the lone Mount St. Mary's diver Euchre. Smooth from Euchre that time, a 6 from one, a 5.5 from the other.
Maggie 4:03 C 1.
Fanning will have another forward dive here in this round number 4. In this new age of as much transferring as there is in college sports, it doesn't diminish the emotions of senior day at all, whether you've been with the program for 1 year, for 3 years like Fanning has, or for 4 or 5. Senior day is still always incredibly special. The finality of it certainly starting to set in, you'd imagine, for some of these athletes. Well, for others like Alex Way, their journey's just beginning. That was much smoother from Way in dive number 4 than in dive number 3. 5.5 for each of the 2 judges. But I'm sure the seniors will be telling the freshmen like Way, enjoy these moments while you have them, because they will go so quickly. Yeah, blink and freshmen like Alex Way will be going through the smoke machine themselves on their own senior day in just a couple of years' time. Like Peyton Thurman just did a few minutes ago, as Thurman's 4th dive of the afternoon will result in a 6 and a 6.5 from the 2 judges. Really good performance from Thurman so far this afternoon. Round number 5 now, as we are 2/3 of the way through the 3-meter diving. We'll have the 1-meter diving coming up a little bit later on. That will be the break in between the swimming. Again, a reminder that after this 3-meter diving, we'll begin with the 200-yard medley relay. We'll see Christine Lazari and Carmen Del Aguila Martin in the pool for the first time for Mount St. Mary's, and Isabel McGovern and Grace Gilbert in the pool for the first time for American. It won't be the last time that Gilbert and Lazari go head-to-head. That's going to be one of the big storylines. I believe Maggie Fanning's handwriting just got called into question by our PA announcer. But it's going to be round number 5 for Fanning. Smooth for Fanning, and the judges agree 5.5 and a 6.
Alex, 51, 52.
On the men's side of things, Lucas Hancock will be one of the big swimmers to watch, especially in the freestyle side of things. We'll see our first look at him in the 200-yard medley relay on the men's side of things. For American, Ryan Persley's really impressed. So too is Gavin Shiflett. They'll both be in the pool to bookend that medley relay. Way gets a 4.5 and a 5.5 from the judges. Penultimate dive for Thurman to wrap up this 5th round. Perhaps a bit too much splash from Thurman. 5.5 and 6 though. So the judges like that one from Thurman, and we're on to our final round of this 3-meter diving. Julie Euchre with her final dive of the afternoon. Well, one more chance in the dual meet against Patriot League rival Lafayette. And then we'll hope to have a chance to compete in the MAAC championships.
In our last competitive 3-meter dive at Friendly Pool, Maggie Fanning.
And as you heard, this is now the final 3-meter dives for these senior swimmers, and Fanning will have one more opportunity to create a special moment in this pool from the 3-meter board. The 1-meter, of course, coming up a little bit later. One shall always remember regardless of score. The scores are 4.5 and 5, but a huge smile on the face coming out of the pool for Maggie Fanning. And the person who cheered the loudest in the room for her was her teammate Peyton Thurman, who will have her own final moment from 3 meters at Fraley Pool in just a moment. First, it'll be Way. Final dive of Way's night, 4.5 and 5.5, and now one more chance for Peyton Thurman.
Peyton Thurman, a 4:03.21.
One that will live in the memory bank forever for Peyton Thurman, and a good score as well, 6.5 and a 5.5 for Peyton Thurman to wrap up her 3-meter diving career here at Fraley Pool. We'll see her in the Patriot League Championships in just a little bit, I'm sure. We'll see her at the 1-meter diving board a little bit later on this afternoon along with Fanning. But one more chance to do something for the last time here at Fraley Pool for Thurman and Fanning, the two senior divers for American, who are going to embrace as they will put up the flags and will get set to head into the pool for the swimming portion of this dual meet between Mount St. Mary's and American. We'll begin with the 200-yard medley relay as they get set up operationally. There will be 3 American teams, 3 Mount St. Mary's teams in the pool. We will step aside, and when we come back, they'll be in the pool to begin the swimming portion of this dual meet. Eagles and Mountaineers just getting going here from DC. We welcome you back to Fraley Pool as we get set to begin the 200-yard medley relay and the swimming portion of this dual meet between the Eagles and the Mountaineers. In lane number 2 for the Eagles, it'll be their C team, Brooke Voss, Marley Reese, Veronica Lester, and Sarah Gisselbach. In lane 3 will be Mount St. Mary's A team. That's Hannah Agin, Christine Lazary, Carmen Del Aguia Martin, and Madison Murphy. In lane number 4, right next to them, is Americans A team. That's Marin Pretty, Jordan Carpentieri, Isabel McGovern, and Grace Gilbert. Mounts B team will be right next to them in lane number 5. Theodora Kanopoulou, Araceli Skiles, Abby Steckiel, and Gabriella Douglas. In lane number 6 will be Gabby Kazarowski, Grace Netz, Madison Stover, and Lucy Penna of American. And that will be the 5 teams that will be in action here this afternoon. It does not look as though Mount St. Mary's has fielded a C team, so it will just be these 5 teams this afternoon. In the ACAC Winter Championships, the last meet that Mount St. Mary's competed in, they won this event with Agin, Lazary, Kanopoulou, and Eve Phillips as the 4 who swam on that A team. 2 changes made for this A team as Tiagila Martin and Madison Murphy draw in. Kanopoulou drops down to that B team, and no Eve Phillips to speak of here in the 200-yard medley relay. So some changes made for the Mountaineers from that winning team that they put together that swam a 1:43.57 in the MAAC championships last year. They were bronze medalists. They're going to just put their final finishing touches on ensuring that the timing system is all set, and then we'll get going. So you mentioned Mount St. Mary's won bronze in this event in the MAAC championships. Agin and Lazary were the 2 who got started for the Mount in that event as well. Kanopoulou did swim in that event too, and so did Megan Spiker. So Kanopoulou dropping from the breaststroke leg of the A team into the opening leg now of the B team for Mount St. Mary's. Some reshuffling of things around for the Mountaineers to try to put together their best 4 ahead of the MAAC championships. For American, it was heartbreak in this event last year in the Patriot League championships, off the podium by a 1/10 of a second. And the only of the 4 who swam in that event that are also on the A team here for the Eagles is a swimmer who will lead things off for AU, Marin Pretty, the 19-year-old sophomore. Swam in leg number 2 in that event 1 year ago. But a bit of a reshuffling of things as well for AU today. It was Piper Crosby who led things off in that Patriot League championships. We're being told she's unavailable today for the Eagles. Mimi Watts and Lianzhang Engel also swam in that 200-yard medley relay. That saw AU swim it in 1:40.37. 1 year ago, almost, as we barrel towards another 2026 Patriot League championship. The last time out in that Patriot Invitational for AU in that 200-yard medley relay to start things off, Eagles came in 3rd. It was Crosby, Pretty, McGovern, and Gilbert who swam in that event. So the only change that is made is the introduction of Jordan Carpentieri onto the A team in place of Piper Crosby as Pretty slides up to the first leg, and McGovern and Gilbert will continue to anchor things for this A team. Eagles came in 3rd with FAU coming in 1st and Towson in 2nd. Addie Scott has been so impressive for years now for the Tigers, and she helped get Towson out to a strong start en route to that silver medal finish. But FAU's B team ended up coming in 4th place, George Mason in 5th, and Richmond in 6th in that Patriot Invitational. But that was just about 2 months ago. It's been that long since the Eagles have been able to swim against anyone other than themselves. And now an opportunity to take on Mount St. Mary's. Again, in case you're just joining us, Old Dominion on the docket a week from today, and then the Navy Invitational on January 31st, the final meet for the Eagles before Patriot League championship season in Annapolis. They're just trying to, again, make sure, in case you're just tuning in, that the timing software in the pool is accurate. Of course, so many of these coming down to hundredths of seconds. So they want to make sure that they have those computers exactly right. And when they do, we'll be able to get going here with the swimming portion of this dual meet. Again, already underway with the diving. Peyton Thurman put in a really strong performance. Alex Way certainly showed his talent and why there are so many around this Eagles program who you know will be very excited with him, the freshman who already ranks 4th all-time in a single meet at the 1 meter and 8th all-time in a single meet from the 3 meter. Long wait for these swimmers sitting poolside. We looked like we were just about ready to go. And now this delay continuing to linger, and so these swimmers will have to just make sure they keep themselves warm, especially those who will go in the first leg. That's Voss, Agin, Priddy, Kanapulu, and Kazarowski. Agin going to be an important piece of the puzzle for Mount St. Mary's all afternoon and all season. 2nd in the ECAC Winter Championships in the 100-yard backstroke. 4th in the conference championship a season ago, just about a half a second off the podium. She'll be in solid performance chance to get onto the podium this year. Irene Pappas, who won that gold medal in the 100-yard backstroke for Fairfield, not with the program anymore. She was a senior last year, has since graduated for the Stags. So that will really open the door for anybody who can seize their opportunity in Geneva. Agin was also 2nd in the ECAC's last time out for the Mount in the 200-yard backstroke. Kanapulu, an interesting piece of the puzzle for Mount St. Mary's as well. 4th in the ECAC's in the 100-yard backstroke. 2nd in the B final last year as a freshman, but somebody who has big-time experience. She swam in the World Aquatics World Cup in her native country of Greece back in 2023, that competition being held in Athens. Was primarily as a butterflyer when she swam in Greece, but has been more at the backstrokes since coming to Mount St. Mary's. Trying to find what her best fit is in Emmitsburg. So wouldn't be surprised if after the first leg, Agin and Kanapulu are right there for Mount St. Mary's, and that means that Priddy is going to have to come up with a really good first leg to match. Priddy, again, remember, swam that 2nd leg in the Patriot League Championships, but really well-rounded swimmer is Priddy, the North Carolina native. Mostly will swim the breaststroke and the freestyle, but can be asked to do a little bit of everything. She did swim the 100-yard backstroke in that quad meet that Navy held. She came in 5th with a 58.08 in the 100, so has some experience with the backstroke. We'll go backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and then freestyle, in case you're unfamiliar with the order. So Priddy will be in the pool for the backstroke. Again, it's probably your 3rd most swam stroke after the freestyle and the breaststroke. But Eagles needing something a bit different from Priddy, with Crosby unavailable and Carpentieri shuffling in her place. Carpentieri herself with a big opportunity when her name is called to have that next man up mentality. The New York native for the Eagles, who is in there to swim the breaststroke because that is by far her best event. Finished 1st in the race in the 100-yard breaststroke, and will meet against Old Dominion a season ago. Has not had too many opportunities to really show what she can do this year, but really good opportunity on a big stage for her. Carpentieri is part of the B team in that Patriot Invitational. They came in 13th of the 14 teams. Carpentieri missing out on the B final in the 200-yard IM as well, but that kind of does show the we're actually going to shuffle things around a little bit. We're hearing that we have a little bit of technical difficulties in terms of the timing software in the pool. So we are going to go back to the diving. We'll go to the 1 meter diving coming up next, and a bit of a change of plans, but still plenty of action coming up. We will pause briefly to allow the divers to warm back up. Of course, they did not know yet that they would be having their number called so soon. So we'll briefly step aside, and when we come back, get set for the 1 meter diving and some final opportunities for their last action in the pool for Maggie Fanning and Peyton Thurman, the two American University seniors. In case you're just tuning in, welcome back to Fraley Pool here on the campus of American University in Washington, D.C. The 3-meter diving has been concluded. We were going to get set with the 200-yard medley relay. We've run into some technical difficulties with the scoring and the timing software. So we're getting set for the 1-meter dive. We're just allowing those divers to warm up. Of course, they thought they would have a longer ability to cool down and then warm back up before waiting to go in the 1-meter diving, which was slated to go in the midway point of the swimming, but will now be going as the next event once the divers are warmed up. So we're allowing those divers to get into their routine, and when we come back, we'll have the 1-meter diving and the final action at Fraley Pool in the careers of the two divers who have had such tremendous performances for AU over the course of their years, Maggie Fanning and Peyton Thurman. That's coming up next when we come back to Fraley Pool. We welcome you back to Fraley Pool as we get set for the 1 meter diving. And Julie Euchre will get things going for Mount St. Mary's. One of 2 mountaineer divers who will be at the 1 meter. Euchre also competed in the 3 meter. Madison Garcia will also be on the 1 meter board. 6 and a 6.5 for Euchre to start things off. And here's Peyton Thurman, as we mentioned, on her senior day. Our final opportunity now from the 1 meter after a really strong performance in the 3 meter. First of the final 6 dives. 6.5 from both of the judges. Madison Garcia getting our first look at her. Garcia was scratched from the ECAC Winter Championships, but the senior from Virginia has had a really nice career. South Riding and Paul VI High School. Could not quite stay balanced that time, and a 2 and a 3 from the judges as a result.
2:01B16.
Here's Maggie Fanning. First of her final round of dives here at Fraley Pool. Five and a half and a 6.5 from the 2 judges. Get our first look at the lone male diver for Mount St. Mary's. Try to identify who that is in just one moment. It's a solid dive for the first 5 from each of the judges. And now Alex Way, who we did mention was on the 3 meter as well, the freshman, former Virginia State champion. Got plenty of air underneath it. 5 and a 6 are the 2.
Second round, Julie, 1:04C22.
First of the dives and round number 2 belongs to Euchre. 5 and 5.5 for Euchre. Solid dive in round number 2.
1:04B23.
2.3 degree difficulty now for Peyton Thurman in round number 2. Longer walk up for Thurman on the 1 meter than she had on most of her 3 meter dives. Help build that momentum. 6 from each of the judges in this round number 2. And now here is Garcia. Again, a longer walk up similar to that of Thurman. Got well away from the diving board, but a 2 and a 3 from the judges.
1:04.
And now here is Fanning.
23. 1:03B.
They
1:04B. Eventually I'll get it, Maggie.
They clarify the dive that Fanning will have. A couple of times now Fanning has had to clarify. Last time doing this dive for Fanning at Fraley Pool. Something she has done in this room countless times now. Teammate Thurman certainly liked it. 5 from each of the 2 judges.
Owen, 401, C, 1-4.
And Fasoka next up. Five and a half from each of the 2 judges. And the final diver of round number 2 will be Alex Way, who will have a 2.6 degree difficulty on his second. And Way was the only of the male divers from the 3 meter. Very versatile, but this is 1 meter. Has been his strongest foot forward so far this year. That tremendous performance at Howard, the 274.5, 6.5 from each of the 2 judges. That score, as we mentioned, 4th all-time in program history already, and he is just a freshman. Still so much promise for Alex Way to come. You know, that we are really just scratching the surface of what he is going to be capable of. Euchre's third dive results in a 6 and a 5.5.
203, B, 2-3.
Dive number 3 for Thurman. That back dive was very good. 6 and a 7 are the 2 judges.
401, C, 1-4.
Madison Garcia will be next up. Garcia was a swimmer as well as a diver in her high school days. Swam the 50 free and 50 backstroke before converting to being a diver full time. Here is Fanning up next. Deliberate build-up for Fanning as she gets set for her third. Staying very close to the board that time was Fanning. 5.5 from each of the 2 judges. Final dives of round number 3, a 1.6 degree difficulty, with way still to come. Way won that 2024 Virginia State Championship, by the way, as just a junior. Beat out his Meridian High School teammate Connor Twiddle, who was in the same class as well as Kai Poole, who has since gone on to have a really good career.
2-3.
Out of Monticello, who had a really solid senior season as well down in Virginia. But here is Way one more time here in the third. Way won the silver medal his senior season. Luke Rawlings, who finished second to him in 2024, finally bested him in 2025.
1-7.
And now we're into round 4 with Julie Euchre. It was a star-studded Virginia High School diving championship. Talking about 4 scores over 360 in that diving championship. A 6 from both of the judges, as Thurman will be up next. Again, Thurman will bring that long walk up the board. Her teammates certainly like it. Judges like it as well. 6.5 from both of the 2 judges. 1.5 degree difficulty now for Madison Garcia. Of course, that is that multiplier that you add on to the individual scores. Then you'll tally that up to get to the overall diving rankings. As Garcia adjusts the configurations of the board. The back dive for Garcia, the former high school freestyler. Trying to use those hands to punch the water first, create as little splash as possible. 4.5 and a 5 as Fanning will go next. 1.7 degree of difficulty. Swimmers for AU who have been reduced to spectator at this point due to the technical difficulties, really trying to urge the AU divers on. They've been in good voice, those of whom who are still poolside here. That looked quite smooth from Fanning. And judges agree, 5.5, 6.5. 1.7 degree of difficulty as we begin to wrap up round number 4. Again, appreciate you joining us and sticking with us through some technical difficulties here at Fraley Pool. It's been all smooth on our broadcast so far. Appreciate our entire crew who has done a great job of getting AU Swim Dive on the American University Eagles YouTube page this year. Been so exciting to be able to provide commentary for the first time in history of the program. Well, it's a really exciting time for AU swimming and diving. In no small part to the young swimmers and divers like Alex Way, who's stepping up to the board now for his 4th. Trying to be as vertical as possible when entering the pool. A 5 and a 6 are the scoring decisions. On to round number 5 now as Euchre will step back up to the board. Again, in case you need a refresher in the order of events for the swimming, it'll be the 200 medley relay first, then the 1,000-yard freestyle, the 200-yard free, and the 50 free. The first 4 events on the docket when we hope to get the swimming started relatively soon. The issue has been with the software that allows us to officially time each lane when the swimmers touch.
53, 23, D24.
Thurman up next for her penultimate dive in Fraley Pool. And she'll have more opportunities before getting to the Patriot League Championship. Next week in Norfolk against Old Dominion, and then at the Navy Invitational in Annapolis. But only one more dive left and a 5 from each of the judges for Thurman. Garcia up next. 1.6 degree of difficulty for Garcia's 5th dive of the night. It'll be difficult for the opposing divers as well to have to match the intensity and the emotion that will come with the home divers having their senior day. Always one of the wrinkles of events like senior days, you know that the hosts who are being honored will have that little extra boost going into the event. And again, in a sport as mental as diving, you have to be able to match the intensity right from the very beginning. 4.5 and 4 are Garcia's scores.
51-32, D.
Fanning with her second to last dive for AAU here. Big cheer from Thurman behind the board, but a 4.5 and a 4 are the scores.
31, D. 2-1.
You know, that friendship that Thurman and Fanning have continued to develop as the two female swimmers for American. They've been together now for 3 years with the Eagles. It's wonderful to see that as soon as one hits the water, the loudest cheer in the room comes from the other. Four and a half from each of the two judges, and now Wei will wrap up round number 5. 2.4 degree of difficulty for Wei. Back dive for the freshman star from Virginia. Looked smooth for Wei, and the judges agree. 6.5 and a 7 for Wei. And now on to the final round. 1.7 for Euchre as we get set for the final of the 6 dives for each of the 6 athletes competing here. Euchre wrapping up with a 5.5 from both of the judges. And now for Peyton Thurman in her final competitive dive.
403,
One more moment for Peyton Thurman. And it looked to be a good one. 5.5 and 6 for Peyton Thurman to take for her final dive.
11A18.
The Richfield, Ohio native has her Fraley Pool career in the books. And Fanning will say the same momentarily. First, Garcia, a senior herself, knows what these kinds of emotions are that Thurman and Fanning are going through right now. Didn't quite get the purchase off of the board that she would have wanted. 3.5 and a 4 for Garcia. And now here is Maggie Fanning.
Competitive dive. And really cool. Maggie Fanning. 52-31. K. I mean D. 2-1.
2.1 degree of difficulty for Maggie Fanning. That's a wrap on Maggie Fanning's senior season. A 4.5 and a 5.5 for Fanning as the Chicago, Illinois native puts the final touches on her AU career, and a big embrace with Peyton Thurman as soon as she got out of the pool. Emotions sky high as the three seniors competing, Garcia, Thurman, and Fanning, all coming together to have a conversation. As Way, the freshman, will wrap it up. But Peyton Thurman and Maggie Fanning, with their final competitive action here at Fraley Pool in their senior seasons on their senior day, coming up with some solid performances as well. Thurman's second and third dives phenomenal. And now Way to wrap things all up. 5.5 from both of the judges for the freshman, who will have his senior day coming up sooner than he will think. But Way will wrap up our diving portion with a 5.5 from each of the judges, and that is all for the diving. Peyton Thurman and Maggie Fanning with their senior day moments here at Fraley Pool as we conclude the diving portion of the afternoon. When we come back, we'll get set, hopefully, for the 200-yard medley relay coming up in just a few on the other side between Mount St. Mary's and American from the nation's capital. We welcome you back to Fraley Pool here in Washington, D.C. as we get set for the swimming portion of this dual meet between Mount St. Mary's and American. Quick note, that the times that we get will be unofficial. So we'll try to put everything in context for you along the way. But we'll begin with the women's 200-yard medley relay. A reminder of the lanes from earlier that we were discussing. In lane 2, it'll be American C team of Brooke Voss, Marley Reese, Veronica Lester, and Sarah Gisselbach. In lane number 3, right next to them is Mount St. Mary's A team. That's Hannah Agan, Christine Lazari, Carmen Dalgia Martin, and Madison Murphy. And lane number 4 is American's A team, Marin Pretty, Jordan Carpentieri, Isabel McGovern, and Grace Gilbert. The one change made from that Patriot League Invitational team as Carpentieri slides in place of Piper Crosby as the Eagles won that Potomac Relay Invitational as well back in the start of the season. In lane number 5, Mount St. Mary's B team, Theodora Kanapolu, RSC Skiles, Abby Stekiel, and Gabriella Douglas. And in lane number 6 will be American's B team, Gabby Kezarowski, Grace Netz, Madison Stover, and Lucy Penna. They're just making sure that all the final precautions are taken care of. There will be manual timers for each lane, but of course, as we mentioned, those will be unofficial. We'll have order of finish confirmed for you as well for every event, and we'll hopefully have official times that we can deliver to you sooner rather than later. But we are just about ready to go for the swimming portion of this event. Again, a reminder that Mount St. Mary's won bronze in this event in their conference championships last year with the same first 2 legs in Agan and Lazari, but a different last 2 legs. It was Kanapolu and Megan Spiker a year ago, and now the A team of Delagia Martin and Murphy. American coming in 4th place with Pretty, the only swimmer who swam in that event, who will be on the A team again this afternoon. 1,000-yard freestyle, 200 free, 50 free, 200 IM, 100 butterfly, 100 free, 100 back, 500 free, 100 breaststroke, and we'll end with one of the most exciting events of the night, the 200-yard freestyle team relay. That is what is on the docket for you. The lanes, in case you're unfamiliar, will go higher up towards the top of your screen. Lane 1 will be at the very bottom of your screen. Lane 8 will be at the very top. Manual starts. Swimmers will have to adjust to the manual starting as well. And so we'll see how that impacts, especially Agan and Pretty. The swimmers are called into the pool.
We are ready to race. We begin on that one. Women's 200-yard medley relay. Mr. Referee.
Pretty will be in lane 4 in the center of your screen. Agan will be towards the bottom of your screen in lane number 3. In the Patriot League Invitational, American came in 3rd. As Piper Crosby got out to a good start. Marin Pretty was in the 2nd leg, but she's leading things off with the backstroke in lane number 4. Right now, though, Hannah Agan with a slight lead in lane number 3. Agan, the junior, finished 2nd in the ECAC Winter Championship 100-yard freestyle. She has been excellent for them out this season as she has the Mountaineers out to the lead after 1 leg. Christine Lazari in the pool next, the senior who won the 1,000-yard freestyle in the ECACs and came within 0.02 of a second off of Mount St. Mary's record. She came in 5th in the 100-yard freestyle in the 2025 MAAC Championships using the breaststroke. This time around, though, Lazari, Delagia Martin will go to the butterfly next as the lead continues to open up for Lazari at the moment. It's Carpentieri who is in 2nd place right now for American, but it's a huge gap to make up for Isabel McGovern on her senior day. Can the butterfly specialist get Grace Gilbert an opportunity to chase down Madison Murphy? Carmen D'Aguia Martin is still in the pool now for Mount St. Mary's. D'Aguia Martin, 2nd in the 100-yard freestyle in the ACAC Championships. She also won the 500-yard freestyle. She's one of the more versatile swimmers that the Mount has. And Madison Murphy is in the pool to try to close things out for the Mountaineers. Grace Gilbert trying to close things down as McGovern had a really strong 3rd leg in her senior day, but it looks like it is going to be too big of a gap for Gilbert to chase down as Madison Murphy still trying to hold on. Here comes Gilbert putting on a little bit of a charge, but she won't have enough time as Madison Murphy will win the first event for Mount St. Mary's. Grace Gilbert touches up second for AU, and their B team as Lucy Penna will touch up third. So it goes Mount St. Mary's 1, AU 2, AU 3. A really strong opening swim from Hannah Agin and Christine Lazari in the second leg was plenty for Mount St. Mary's to take the opening victory. Now we'll move on to the men's 200-yard medley relay.
Event 2, 200-yard medley relay.
In lane number 1, Mount St. Mary's D team, Colin O'Hare, Jeff Travers, Logan Senesig, and John Kaiser. Americans A teams in lane 4, Ryan Tersley, Kyler Asserbar, Maiden Morris, and Gavin Shiflett. Mount St. Mary's A team right next to them towards the bottom of your screen in lane 3. Parker Koenig, who will swim in the third leg for Mount St. Mary's A team, the only of the 4 who also swam when Mount St. Mary's won silver in this event in the MAAC Championships in 2025. It's Todor Gaspanov, Adam Jaza, Parker Koenig, and Lucas Hancock in lane number 3, the A team for Mount St. Mary's against Ryan Persley, Kyler Asserbar, Maiden Morris, and Gavin Shiflett in lane number 4 for American. It is Gaspanov who got out to the strong start for Mount St. Mary's. And now Jaza in the pool for the Mountaineers trying to hold off Alsabar in lanes 3 and 4. In lane number 5, Mount St. Mary's' B team, Ivan Jandrenko trying to put a little bit of pressure on, but it is all about the A teams of Mount St. Mary's and American who have the lead right now. A really strong swim though in lane number 5 for Jandrenko to put the pressure on. In the pool now for Mount St. Mary's is Parker Koenig, one of the stars of this Mountaineer team, and Maiden Morris in for AU to try to chase him down. But if anything, Koenig opening up a bigger lead, and now Maiden Morris just trying to hold on to second as Liam Rooney swimming strong for Mount St. Mary's. He's nearly chased down Morris, and he has, and Mount St. Mary's with a chance to go 1-2. Lucas Hancock with a massive lead in lane number 3 for Mount St. Mary's. There's no question that they are going to win this event. The only question is who is going to come in second. Is Shiflett for Americans A team or Lucas Hancock for Mount St. Mary's' B team? It's Shiflett with a slight edge right now as Hancock touches up first, and Shiflett is going to touch up second ahead of Mount St. Mary's' B team and John Haskins. But again, Mount St. Mary's comes up with the victory in the 200-yard medley relay. Really strong swim, especially from Parker Koenig, who was part of that silver medal team a season ago.
Lane 3, Mount St. Mary's.
And it is a strong start for Mount St. Mary's in this event, as that A team of Todor Gaspanov, Adam Jaza, Parker Koenig, and Lucas Hancock
Women's and men's 1,000-yard freestyle.
get the victory. We'll do the 1,000-yard freestyle, combined women's and men's. In lane number 2 is Haley Reese. In lane number 4, Kate Williams, both of American. In lane number 5, Megan Price of Mount St. Mary's, the only Mountaineer who will swim this event. Abby Rothrock of American in lane number 6. Luke Martins and Colin Zhu are the 2 American swimmers who will go on the men's side of things.
Men's 1,000, in 7 from AU,
Luke Martins is in lane number 7, and Colin Zhu, who is celebrating his senior day, will be in lane number 8. Zhu, one of the players honored before the event, has swam in so many different events, one of the more versatile swimmers that the Eagles have, will be at the very, very top of your screen in lane number 8 She was swam in the 50, the 100, the 200, the 200 IM, the 400 IM, and the 1,000 free. Had a personal best in the 1,000 free in the ECAC championships earlier on in his junior career, but now into his senior season. Has not swam the 1,000-yard free since he did so in this pool against Catholic in a dual meet. He came in 4th in that event. Luke Martins won that event as the only swimmer to go under 10 minutes on the men's side of things, and Martins is out to a strong start. It's a 25-yard pool, which means 40 lengths, 20 laps of the pool, and Martins, as we mentioned, still out to a good start on the men's side of things. We'll come on to the women's side of things in just a moment, but just to wrap up the conversation of the two men who are in the pool right now. Martins, former Illinois swimming star, came in 4th place in the 800 free in the Illinois Senior Summer Championships, and has been a really bright star as well for the Eagles in the 1,000-yard free. He came in 13th in the Patriot Invitational in the mile. That's 1,650 yards. So just about whenever the 1,000-yard free is contested, he has had success. He won the race against Howard when the Eagles had the dual meet against the Bison and the 1,000 was contested. And he won, as we mentioned, that race against Catholic as well. Came in 5th place in that tri-meet against Loyola and Lehigh. Won the race against UMBC as well. Came in 11th place in the Illinois Senior State Championships in the 1,500 as well. So it's a good start for Martins, who continues to be in the lead, and Colin Zhu behind him by about 1 length of the pool. Now on the women's side of things, Haley Reese towards the bottom of your screen in lane number 2. Kate Williams in lane number 4. Megan Price, the lone swimmer representing Mount St. Mary's, in lane number 5. And Abby Rothrock is in lane number 6. Price was 3rd in the C final in the ECAC Winter Championships in the 500-yard. Price was 12th in the 1650 in the ECACs as well. She set a personal best in last year's MAAC Championships when she came in 27th place, but in the 1650, I should say. But she has really impressed over the summer and really improved over the summer. That ECAC time for Price this past winter compared to February of 2025 improved by 27 seconds. Price having a really, really good season and a really good opportunity for her here into her sophomore campaign. And that's the kind of growth you want to see from freshman to sophomore season. The Wilmington, Delaware native has experience in this 1,000-yard freestyle event before she got to college. Came in 4th place in the Eastfield South District Championships in the 1,000 free. But this, her first opportunity to do so in this season at the collegiate level. She hasn't swam the 1,000 free since November 16th, I should say, of 2024 in a dual meet against Howard. She came in 5th place. She did, however, win the 1,000 free in the 2024 season when Mount St. Mary's beat VMI in a dual meet. So have to keep an eye on Price in lane number 5. Right now, though, in lane number 4, it's Kate Williams who looks to be leading the way for the women's side of things. Colin Zhu has come back on the men's side of things to have a slight lead, it appears, over Luke Martins. So we're just about at the halfway point on the men's 1,000-yard freestyle. Martins in lane number 8 looks to have, at least for the moment, gone past Luke Martins. And it continues to be Kate Williams to lead for American. And Haley Reese in 2nd place right now, her teammate. But Williams, the junior from Vernon Hills, Illinois, came in 7th place in this event in the Patriot League Championships 2 seasons ago. Was part of that school record-setting 800-yard freestyle relay team at the Patriot League Championships last year. Was the unsung hero award winner for AU swimming and diving a season ago was Kate Williams. in lane number 4 continues to have the lead. 23 of the 40 lengths completed now for Williams. Over on the men's side of things, it is Martins who has the edge over Ju. He has lapped him, in fact. He's completed 25 of the lengths. Ju has completed 23 of the lengths. Meanwhile, Williams now with 24 of the 40. She has 60% of the way there. Williams, former 5th place finish in the Illinois Senior Championships in the 800 as well. She won the dual meet 1,000 yard free against Howard as well. Came in 4th place when the Hoyas of Georgetown took on American in this event. She swam a 10:42.75 in that competition and was the 2nd AU swimmer in the pool, behind only Dimitra Bikos, who might be unavailable today. Certainly have not seen her in the early part of the schedule, but she is actually slated to swim the women's 200-yard IM. My apologies. So Bikos will go a little bit more short distance on this occasion. Williams came in 11th place in the 1,650-yard freestyle. That's the mile. That was good for a 17:11.23. Wasn't far away from the really top swimmers. Was only about 11 seconds off of 5th place. It got really bunched up towards the middle of those timed finals. Again, on the men's side, towards the top of your screen, Martins with a sizable lead over Colin Ju. He's 1 full lap, 2 full lengths ahead of him. In the women's 1,000-yard freestyle, Martins continues to have the lead. You can see her touching up there at just about the same time as Megan Price, but Williams has 2 more lengths swam than Price. So it is a substantial edge at the moment for Williams. Haley Reese looks to be in 2nd place at the moment. Abby Rothrock fighting for 2nd as well. Rothrock actually has the slight edge as it stands. Meanwhile, Martins coming down the pool for length number 35. He is coming towards his conclusion of this 1,000-yard freestyle and should have no trouble taking it over Colin Ju. Battle that really is developing is for 2nd place on the women's side of things between Reese and Rothrock, the 2 American Eagles. It looks still like Kate Williams has the sizable edge. Plenty of time for Williams to have. She leads by over 2 full lengths at the moment off of her AU teammates Reese and Rothrock and Megan Price as well. It's Martins coming down towards the finish. We'll hear the bell. Martins on his way towards his final way there and back. Luke Martins, the junior for American, trying to put the finishing touches on what will be a really solid 1,000-yard freestyle for him as he continues to build up towards the distance meet in the Patriot League Championship. Going to be an important distance swimmer for American if they're going to compete for the championships in Annapolis, as Martins comes to the close and will take the men's 1,000-yard freestyle. Colin Ju will have his final few lengths to the pool. He will hear the bell coming down this end of the pool next. Meanwhile, that bell is for Kate Williams. Williams for American with 1 more length there and back. She is going to have a lead of just about 3 lengths over everybody else. That last bell was for Colin Ju, who is wrapping up his final 1,000-yard freestyle on his senior day. But Kate Williams is going to come all the way down the stretch with a really impressive women's 1,000-yard freestyle. She finishes up about 3 lengths before anybody else. Now here comes Colin Ju to wrap up the men's 1,000-yard freestyle on his senior day. Colin Ju coming home strong to the finish, and that's that for the men's 1,000-yard free. The battle for 2nd place is on and won by Abby Rothrock. Megan Price still with one final length left as Haley Reese touches up third, and Megan Price will finish things out for the 1,000-yard freestyle. So on the men's side of things, Luke Martins outduels Connor Jew. On the women's side, it was all Kate Williams. Abby Rothrock finished in second, Haley Reese in third, and now Megan Price will come down the stretch to try to close things out strong for Mount St. Mary's. AU with some strong performances in the 1,000-yard freestyle, and that will wrap up the distance event here as Kate Williams wins things on the women's side for AU and Luke Martins for the Eagles on the men's side. So we'll speed things up on to the women's 200-yard freestyle.
Women's 200-yard freestyle. There's one heat, Mr. Referee.
In lane number 2 towards the bottom of your screen, Sarah Gisselbach of American, CC Hetzel in lane number 3 for Mount St. Mary's, Lucy Penna of American in lane 4, Carmen D'Agia Martin in lane number 5 for Mount St. Mary's, Fiona McMahon for the Eagles in lane number 6, and out in lane number 8 towards the top of your screen will be Mallory Jeremiah for American. And Jeremiah is out to a very strong start in lane number 8, too. In lane number 6, Fiona McMahon out to the early lead. McMahon trying to put together one more good performance as she continues to wrap up her 2025-26 slate. McMahon nearly halfway done, still out to a slight lead.
Coming up at the 100-yard mark, your race in 5 and 6.
McMahon, the sophomore, with a really good opportunity to put together a premier performance, a B finalist in the 200 free in the ECAC championships last year. This time around, swam the 200 free and came in 27th in that Patriot Invitational, but out to a really strong performance here and coming down towards the stretch. It continues to be McMahon, and now D'Agia Martin trying to put the pressure on in lane number 5. D'Agia Martin for Mount St. Mary's pulling ever so slightly ahead into the final 100. It is D'Agia Martin and McMahon continuing to battle. Carmen D'Agia Martin, second in the 100-yard freestyle, won the 500-yard freestyle, holds the Mount St. Mary's record in this event in the 200-yard freestyle, but was scratched in the ACAC Winter Championships. Now she's back in the pool and going stroke for stroke with Fiona McMahon. It is going to be really close down to the finish, and it looks like it is D'Agia Martin who will take it over McMahon in second. The Mountaineers, Carmen D'Agia Martin, battled for it all the way with McMahon, and it did look like the Mountaineers, D'Agia Martin just was able to outtouch her.
Thank you, swimmer.
Again, in case you're just joining us, we do not have the official times available to us. Everything is being manually kept at the pool level. We'll head to the men's side of things next in the 200-yard freestyle relay. It'll be Lucas Standridge of American and Antonio Gurry of Mount St. Mary's, who will be the two that we'll keep an eye on. Nicholas Santorelli was the highest finisher in this event for Mount St. Mary's a season ago. Not going to be available for the Mountaineers here this time around.
AU student athletes who are timers, please listen up. You need to push both the stopwatch and the button behind the lane.
Okay, some instructions to the official timers who are poolside. We have some AU student athletes volunteering to help out their fellow Eagles and get this meet underway.
Attached to the cord. We need both of those to get
In this men's 200-yard freestyle relay, certainly we'll be keeping an eye on Lucas Standridge, who finished the highest of any Eagle in the Patriot League Championship a season ago. He was second in the C final with a 139.82. Standridge in that Patriot League, Patriot Invitational, I should say, in this 200 free came in 25th place. He is in the center of the pool in lane number 4. It's Liam Rooney of Mount St. Mary's at the bottom of your screen in lane number 1. Campbell Hall in lane number 2. Drew Beabout of Mount St. Mary's in lane 3. Standridge in lane 4. Antonio Gurry in lane number 5. Matthew Pistorino in lane number 6. And Brendan Moran in lane number 7. Antonio Gurry, who mentioned the other of the big swimmers to watch, the Pikesville, Maryland native, who in that ECAC Winter Championships in the 200-yard free came in 22nd place overall, and he has a lot of work to do because Standridge is out to a big lead to start things off. Standridge with a healthy gap over Gurry, who's in lane number 5. Campbell Hall of American in second place at the moment in lane number 2 at the 100-yard mark. Standridge has a lot of room to operate. Gurry, who swam a 146.07, will have a lot of work to do. Standridge's most recent time a 142.86, and he looks to be tracking towards a lead of just about that kind of margin again. Standridge coming down towards 150, and there's nobody else really in his vicinity. A frame all to himself for Standridge, as Hall in second place, nearly losing his swimming cap, but still continuing to have the lead in lane number 2 for the battle for second, as Hall does ditch the swimming cap. Now in lane number 3, here comes Drew Beabout from Mount St. Mary's trying to put the pressure on, but there's no doubt about it for Lucas Standridge in lane number 4. All AU so far in the men's 200-yard freestyle relay, and Lucas Standridge from the word go had the lead and a coronation to the finish. In lane number 2, Hall is going to out-touch Beabout for second, but it's all Lucas Standridge for American in the men's 200-yard freestyle. Now we get into one of the most exciting events of the afternoon, the Splash and Dash, the 50-yard freestyle relay. One length there and back. Grace Gilbert versus Christine Lazari was one of the battles coming into play today that we knew was going to be fascinating. Gilbert in 15th place in the 50-yard freestyle in the Patriot Invitational. Former silver medalist in the Delaware High School Championships, and she's in lane number 4. Lazari's in lane number 5. In lane number 3 will be Gabriella Douglas from Mount St. Mary's, and Dylan Moulton of American in lane number 6. At the moment, it looks to be Gilbert with the slight advantage. Gilbert trying to put any sort of separation she can get on Lazari. Gilbert with the lead by just about half a body length, and it will be Gilbert who will take it for American over Christine Lazari. Grace Gilbert lightning quick for AU, and the Eagles continue to dominate on the swimming portion.
Please clear the pool.
On the men's side of things, Connor Florence for American, Lucas Hancock for Mount St. Mary's will be the big battle to watch in lane number 4 and 5. Florence, the Columbus, Ohio native, missed out on the finals in the Patriot Invitational in this event. Hancock with a 20.27 in the ECAC Winter Championships. Came in 9th place, had a really strong swim to make a CSCAA B cut in that event. He's in lane number 5 as the top swimmer in this event for the Mountaineers. So Hancock and Florence is the big battle to watch. In lane number 1, Alexei Chelchilov will try to put a little bit of pressure on. He had a very good start out of the gate, but it looks to be Hancock who has the slight edge. He came out of the water first. It is Hancock with all sorts of room to operate in lane number 5. In lane number 3, Austin Toland fighting for it as well, but it is Hancock, the 50 free specialist from Mount St. Mary's, who looked to take it, and I think that Toland touched up second. What a swim for Lucas Hancock, who continues to excel. He was the bronze medalist in the MAACs in that event a season ago, and there is a big reason why. Another big-time swim for him. On to the women's 200-yard individual medley now, as we continue to roll along nearing the midway point of this swimming portion. In lane number 2, it's Americans Brooke Voss, Lauren Wetzel in lane number 3 for Mount St. Mary's, Isabel McGovern in lane 4 for American, Theodora Kanapoulou of Mount St. Mary's in lane 5, Dimitra Bikos in lane number 6 for AU, Giselle Yanis in lane number 7 for Mount St. Mary's, and Grace Netz of American in lane number 8. We haven't mentioned Dimitra Bikos' name too many times so far today, the Bloomfield Hills, Michigan native. Finished in 4th in the Michigan State Championships in that event, set a club record. And in the 400 IM, came in 28th place in the Patriot Invitational, but swimming the 200 IM for the first time since the tri-meet against Loyola and Lehigh when she came in 14th place. So a good opportunity for Bikos to get a different look at this event. She is currently in 3rd place with the lead right now, sitting with Isabel McGovern in lane number 4. Isabel McGovern onto the breaststroke, has the lead still for American. McGovern on her senior day trying to come up with another big victory. McGovern, the transfer from Dickinson College, where she spent 2022-23. It's been a really good career for Izzy McGovern, though, including in the MAC, or rather the Centennial Conference Championships back in 2023 when she came in 5th in the IM, won the 100-yard butterfly. There's a reason that she got out to the big lead in that event, or in that leg, I should say, earlier on. And it continues to be McGovern who has the edge. Battle for second right now is very close between Kanapoulou and Bikos in lanes number 5 and 6 as they're into the freestyle. That's the battle to watch is for second. Lauren Wetzel and Brooke Voss trying to put the pressure on the outside lanes, but doesn't look like there's too many questions about McGovern's lead right now. Bikos and Kanapoulou are going stride for stride in lane number 5 and 6, but it is McGovern who will win the 200-yard IM, and it looked like Kanapoulou just out-touched Bikos in lane number 5 in 2nd place for Mount St. Mary's, but Izzy McGovern on her senior day with a big-time victory for American, rather. McGovern with a crowning achievement in her final 200-yard IM at Fraley Pool.
Let's go, guys.
Now on to the men's 200-yard IM.
Men's 200-yard individual medley. Mr. Referee.
Ryan Persley's the swimmer to watch for American in lane number 4. Adam Jaza and Ivan Chandrenko of Mount St. Mary's flank him on either side. Persley in the 200-yard IM in the Patriot Invitational came in 34th place, did not qualify for the finals. Hoping to get to the Patriot League Championships in this event in the finals. He swam in the 200-yard IM in the prelims in the Patriot League Championships a season ago. Swam a 1:58.24, came in 39th and missed out on the final. Right now, though, in lane number 6, it's a good start for Nabil El-Akari of American. Rather, that's in lane number 5, I should say. Adam Jaza, who has the lead right now for Mount St. Mary's. Jaza looking to put a little bit of pressure on, so too as Persley touches up first after the backstroke. Onto the breaststroke now. Cole Kaufman of American fighting for the lead as well. Kaufman on the very, very outside picture. Kaufman towards the outside lane, starting to fall a little bit behind as Jaza has the lead at the moment. The West Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada native came in 4th place in this event in the ECAC Winter Championships. Has finished as high as 5th in the 50 breaststroke in the Canadian Junior and Senior Championships. This is very much his event, and he's got a big lead heading on to the freestyle. Jaza really used that breaststroke specialty to come up with a big lead. Kaufman trying to fight for second, but it looks like it's going to be Adam Jaza of Mount St. Mary's who is going to come away with the victory in this men's 200-yard IM. Fight for second continues to be on Ryan Persley. battling with Cole Kaufman, but it is Jaza who touches up first. Fight for second place is going to be won by Ryan Persley. And Kaufman touches up third, so it goes Mount AU, as Adam Jaza with a really impressive third leg breaststroke to come up with the victory.
In 5, Mount St. Mary's, Adam Jaza. Thank you, swimmer.
100-yard butterfly is up next. This is where our break is scheduled for that 1-meter diving, but we had to shuffle things around to do that earlier, so we are going to continue right on through to the women's 100-yard butterfly, on to our final 6 events of the afternoon. And Izzy McGovern back in the pool again on her senior day. Has won the 100 butterfly, did McGovern, at the Patriot Invitational. It was a lot of success for AU, the most Patriot Invitational wins since 2006. Piper Crosby winning the 100 backstroke, but McGovern won the 100 and the 200 fly, setting an individual 200 freestyle school record as well. She has been so important, as they're halfway there, and McGovern continues to have the slight lead over Dagia Martin in lane number 5. Claire Mosher out in lane number 2 fighting for it as well. Mosher challenging for the lead as McGovern trying to outduel Dagia Martin as they're into the final 25. And McGovern stayed underwater just a little bit longer, trying to put any sort of distance she can on Dagia Martin, and it does look like McGovern might just have it. Dagia Martin coming up strong, but it is Izzy McGovern on her senior day who takes the victory in a celebratory splash of the pool for Izzy McGovern. The former 3-time finalist of the Patriot League Championships comes up with another victory on her final meet at Fraley Pool. Now on to the men's 100-yard fly, and a full pool that will feature Ryan Tiffany against Parker Koenig. Koenig somewhat back home, the Bethesda, Maryland native and former Walter Johnson High School swimmer, has had a ton of success, but Ryan Tiffany in the Patriot Invitational swam well in the 100 fly, had to go into a swim off and finished in second in that to come overall 26th, but former bronze medalist in the Arizona State Championships is out to a good start, and so too in lane number 5, Parker Koenig, who we've already seen in the relays help Mount St. Mary's out to the win in the 200-yard medley relay. It is Koenig who has the lead right now in lane number 5 as they're into the final 25. Tiffany trying to put the pressure on him, and Tiffany stayed underwater just a half a beat longer to try to close the gap, but it does look like Parker Koenig will have enough room to operate, and Koenig will win the men's 100-yard butterfly. Ryan Tiffany in second place as Koenig comes back home to the DMV. And the swimmer who had the silver medal in last year's MAAC championships in this event comes up first in the men's 100-yard fly. 100-yard freestyle coming up next. Marin Pretty will have another opportunity for the Eagles.
Event 15, women's 100-yard freestyle. There's one heat, Mr. Referee.
Pretty came in 36 in the 100-yard free in the Patriot League Championships a season ago. Meanwhile, Theodora Kanelapoulou in the ECAC Winter Championships came in 4th place in the 100-yard freestyle. She came in 7th in the 50 in last year's conference championships, one of the better sprint swimmers that the Mount has to offer. As we mentioned already, swam in the World Aquatics World Cup in her home nation of Athens, and she has a lot of work to do so far because Marin Pretty out to a big lead at the halfway point, out in lane number 2. Mallory Jeremiah of American and Madison Murphy of Mount St. Mary's fighting for it, with a chance to get themselves in the top three, but no problem at all for Marin Pretty. Out in lane number 6, Dylan Moulton fighting for second place. She could have second place, but no question at all about who will be in first. It's all Marin Pretty for American as Moulton touches up second and AU goes 1-2.
Winning women's 100-yard freestyle.
Really good swim for Marin Pretty, who has had to step up in a big way. The sophomore has set a couple of pool records already so far in just her second year with the Eagles. And now on the men's 100-yard freestyle, Matthew Pistorino will go toe-to-toe with Austin Toland. We've already seen Antonio Gurry also impressed for Mount St. Mary's. He's back in the pool too. Gurry will be in lane number 3, Pistorino in lane 4, Austin Toland in lane 5. Pistorino, the California native, missed out on the finals in the Patriot Invitational in this event, but has a ton of speed and has really looked good in the 100 free so far this season. And the 200 free, came in 5th place in the dual meet against Howard in the 200 free. Here in lane number 6, though, Lucas Standridge, who's already had a good meet as well, out to the lead right now on Austin Toland in lane number 5, wearing the pink cap for Mount St. Mary's. Out on the outer lanes right now, Campbell Hall for American trying to fight for the lead. In lane number 5, though, it continues to be Toland with the pink cap and Standridge in lane number 6. Nothing to separate Standridge and Toland right now as they come towards the finish. Toland starting to pull ahead, and Toland will take it from Mount St. Mary's. Austin Toland with a really strong swim, and it looked like the Colorado native Austin Toland was able to take it. Toland came in 5th place in this event in the conference championships last year, and continuing to build to hope to get on the podium in 2026. 100-yard backstroke is up next. On to our final 4 events of the night to make some more memories here on Senior Day. And speaking of Senior Day, Gabby Kazarowski, one of the seniors being honored for American before the meet. She's in lane number 6. Holds some top 16 times at American in the 100 fly and 200 IM and the 200 medley relay. In the backstroke now this time, though, for the Eagles. And out in lane number 6 with some work to do with Hannah Agin having the lead right now. Agin second in the ECACs in this event. And the last time out that she swam a competitive meet. 4th in the conference championships in the 100 backstroke, and she's got some unfinished business come conference championship time, and it is all Agin at the moment in lane number 5 for Mount St. Mary's. Fight for second is contested between Voss in lane number 4 and Kazarowski in lane number 6. The 2 AU Eagles trying to get in second place, but as smooth as you can ask for Hannah Agin. No problem at all for her. In the women's 100-yard backstroke, she finishes first easily as Kazarowski with a strong second place finish on her senior day. Hannah Agin continuing to get herself ready for a podium push in the MAAC Conference Championships next month with a victory in the women's 100-yard backstroke, but a good swim for Gabby Kazarowski on her senior day. Ryan Persley will be back in the pool, going up against Todor Gospodinov and Nikita Kudidac. Persley in lane 4 with Kudidac in lane 3 and Gospodinov in lane 5 on either side of him. Good start in lane number 5 for Gospodinov at just 19 years of age, going to be a really important swimmer down the stretch for Mount St. Mary's. The Bulgarian native who in the 100-yard backstroke came in 3rd in the ECAC Winter Championships. He has competed in the Bulgarian Championships, came in 4th place in his home nation in this event, and he's out to a good start halfway through this event. It continues to be Gospodinov who has the lead going into the final 50. In lane number 2, Henry Bish for American trying to put the pressure on. Kuda Diach, the freshman from Mount St. Mary's, with an opportunity to get the mount to go 1-2. But a swimmer who's going to have his eyes set on his very first MAAC championships next month is going to take it easily for Mount St. Mary's. Todor Gospodinov with no problem for the Mountaineers. And a really well-worked 100-yard backstroke on both the women's and men's side. Hannah Agate and Todor Gospodinov with comfortable victories for the Mountaineers.
Todor Gospodinov. Thank you, swimmers.
So we'll move into the women's 500-yard freestyle. 3 events left as we start to come down the stretch.
Event 19, women's 500-yard freestyle. Mr. Referee.
In lane number 2 is Abby Rothrock for American. In lane 3, Mount St. Mary's is Nina Devins. Demetra Bikos has been saving for this event in lane number 4, Megan Price. In lane number 5, it's going to be a really difficult ask for Price, who just swam the 1,000-yard freestyle and didn't get the beneficiary of the break for the diving because we did that at the very start. So Price has to turn around right after swimming a competitive 1,000-yard freestyle and go right back to the 500. See how she is able to hold up. Kate Williams in lane number 6, Haley Reese in lane number 8. They have been busy as well, but it is Bikos who will be in lane number 4 in the spotlight, the Michigan native. Did swim in the Patriot Invitational in this event last time out. Did not qualify for the finals with that 32nd overall finish. 24th in the Patriot League Championships a season ago. In the 500 freestyle in the prelims, and then came in 7th place in the C final after qualifying for the evening session. You know, Bikos will certainly be looking to improve on that and get herself into perhaps a B final or even beyond in the Patriot League Championships in Annapolis next month. Out in lane number 6, though, the lead for Kate Williams, who also just swam the 1,000-yard freestyle. There are a handful of swimmers who just swam the 1,000 that are turning right back around and doing it again. Williams, Reese, and Price, as well as Abby Rothrock out in lane number 2, I should mention, all with really, really quick turnarounds. 20 lengths of the pool in this 500-yard freestyle relay. And in lane number 6 continues to be Kate Williams, who won the 1,000-yard freestyle only a few moments ago, who continues to have the lead now in the 500. Everybody just about on the same length as it stands. This will be the part of the event where things really start to open up a little bit. In 2nd place as it stands is Bikos, who will be a little bit fresher for the final few legs. Out in lane number 8, Haley Reese, sitting in 3rd right now, but at the halfway point, Williams still with the advantage. Bikos about 3 body lengths behind her. Out in lane number 8, Reese continuing to put the pressure on Rothrock. Stride for stride with Reese right now, but they're on opposite ends of the pool. If that's the battle for 3rd, they won't be able to see each other's wake. But at the moment, Rothrock looks to have the slight edge on Reese. In lane number 6, though, it's all about Kate Williams. Touches up about 3 strokes before Bikos does in lane number 4, and we'll see when Bikos makes her move and if and when Williams starts to taper off a little bit, having just swum that 1,000-yard freestyle only about a half an hour of real time ago. It doesn't look as though Williams is slowing down anytime soon. Price is the final swimmer to get through the length that just about everyone is on now. In lane number 3, Nina Devins of Mount St. Mary's will now wrap up her 13th leg. So Williams now starting to lap the group as she passes her 15th leg. And we'll head towards the final 100 of the 500-yard freestyle. And her lead just continuing to grow. It's now nearly half of the pool on Dimitra Bikos. Battle for third continues to be between Rothrock and Reese. And in lane number 2, Rothrock has the lead by about 2 strokes. You see Williams touching up at just about the same time as Nina Devins in the pink Mount St. Mary's cap, but Williams is a full lap ahead of Devins. That's not the race right now. Bikos continuing to fall behind Williams. That bell is for Kate Williams as she is into her final length there and back. And continuing to grow her lead. Bikos in a strong second right now, but Rothrock trying to put pressure on her for second place. Rothrock charging towards the finish as those 3 are into their final lengths, but it is Kate Williams who is going to head to her final few strokes, the junior, with no problem at all touching up first and winning the women's 500-yard freestyle. Battle for second is between Bikos and Rothrock, and Bikos is going to take it. Abby Rothrock swims a solid third. Out in lane number 8, Haley Reese finishing 4th. Megan Price coming down to her final few strokes in lane number 5, and Nina Devins will wrap things up for Mount St. Mary's in lane number 3. What a solid swim for Kate Williams. Very impressive to have swam the 1,000 and to go up against Dimitra Bikos, who did not swim the 1,000, and outswim her anyway en route to the victory. As we mentioned, Bikos in second, Rothrock in third, Haley Reese in 4th, Megan Price in 5th, and Nina Devins touches up in 6th to wrap things up here in the women's 500-yard freestyle.
Women's 500-yard freestyle. Lane 6, AU Kate Williams. Thank you, swimmers.
So we'll move on now to the men's 500-yard freestyle. Only 4 swimmers in the pool. We've already seen Luke Martins and Colin Chu contest the 1,000-yard freestyle. So again, that quick turnaround. Martins will be in lane 4, Chu in lane number 6. John Farney of Mount St. Mary's in lane 3. Colin O'Hare, the freshman, in lane number 5.
In the men's 500, Mount St. Mary in 3, John Farney.
The Martins will be the favorite in lane number 4. Be interesting to see how John Farney, the junior from Orfield, Pennsylvania, is able to put some pressure on. Farney swam in the 1,000 in the in the MAAC championships, I should say, or rather the 1650 he did in the MAAC championships, came in 22nd place, good for a CSCA B cut. So Farney, an experienced swimmer who has plenty of 1,000s under his belt. He is really versatile swimmer, swam the 100 free in the ECAC Winter Championships as well. Took that extracted time of 23.67. Last year's MAAC Championships came in 14th in the 1650. After that, place in the 20s 2 years ago. So continuing to build year over year. And the 1,000-yard freestyle, his best time came before he even got to college in the Middle Atlantic Senior Championships. The time of 9:45.73. Did have a 10:02.63 extracted time in the MAAC Championships. That has been his best since arriving at Mount St. Mary's. It continues to be, though, all about Luke Martins in the distance events. Martins has the edge right now in lane number 4. Been talking about John Farney in lane number 3. He's battling for second with Colin O'Hare, who is out in lane number 5. O'Hare, the freshman from Bel Air, Maryland, trying to put his stamp on this dual meet as we near the midway point, and Martins continues to have the lead. Colin Ju swimming in what will be his final event. On his senior day, we should certainly note the importance of this moment and of this event for Colin Ju out in lane number 6. Has swum so many different events for AU. We were talking about in the 1,000, everything from the 50 to the 1,000. PR and strategic communications major. Trying to have one more signature memory in Fraley Pool in this 500-yard freestyle. Martins continues to have the lead. The two Mount St. Mary's swimmers in Farney and O'Hare have very, very little to separate them. It is O'Hare who has the very slight edge by less than a stroke, which in this event, razor-thin margins for second place, and Ju trying to get back into that second group and chase down the two Mount St. Mary's swimmers. Martins wrapping up length number 14, 350 yards of the 500, en route to what should be, as it stands, another victory for Luke Martins, just as he won the men's 1,000-yard freestyle, individually out-dueling Colin Ju. Looks to be in strong position in this 500-yard freestyle as well. The lead starting to open up a little bit for O'Hare over his teammate John Farney in lane number 3. But O'Hare in lane 5 still nearly a full length of the pool behind Martins. Can Colin Ju chase down Farney and O'Hare for second and third? This is 17 lengths of the pool for Luke Martins. His next time back home, he'll hear the bell. The lead for O'Hare over Farney is about 1.5 body lengths over his teammate for second place. But Luke Martins hearing the bell ring for one more length of the pool there and back, en route to another win for AU. These distance events have been dominated by the Eagles. And Luke Martins will be able to have a processional the rest of the way home. No trouble at all from just about the first 5 lengths of the pool. It belonged to Luke Martins. And Martins is going to cruise home with a victory in the men's 500-yard freestyle. Battle is on for second place. O'Hare has the lead right now over John Farney. And it looks like O'Hare is going to be able to take it the rest of the way home. Colin Ju on his senior day with his final 25 yards at Fraley Pool. Trying to dig deep for just about everything that he's got as O'Hare touches up second, Farney touches up third, and here comes the senior, Colin Ju, to wrap things up in the men's 500-yard freestyle. Luke Martins in lane number 4 with another solid victory for the Eagles.
Please clear the pool.
Final 2 events of the day now, on to the 100-yard breaststroke. And we'll see Jordan Carpentieri go head-to-head with Christine Lazari. Talking about Lazari earlier on in the broadcast. She has been so impressive for Mount St. Mary's today and throughout her Mount career. In terms of the competition at the conference level, had more success in the freestyle, but now trying to get it done in the breaststroke is Lazari, the senior from Athens, Greece, with a big-time opportunity for the Mountaineers in lane number 5, out to a strong start. In the 100 breaststroke, won the ECAC Winter Championships, came in 5th place, or rather 6th place, I should say, in the conference championships a season ago, but she was a bronze medalist in this event 2 years ago. Can the breaststroke specialist get it done again for Mount St. Mary's in lane number 5? Jordan Carpentieri not far behind her, though, in lane number 4 as they head in towards the final turn before the last 25, and Lazari with the ever so slight edge. Lazari with the lead of just about half a body length over Carpentieri for the 100-yard breaststroke lead Battle is on for third place. It looks to be Giselle Yanis, the freshman for Mount St. Mary's in lane number 7, but Lazari is going to take the victory for Mount St. Mary's in lane number 5. Carpentieri finishes in second place, and Yanis was touching up at just about the same time as Skiles, rather Reese I should say, for American in the battle for third, but Christine Lazari continuing to build up to try to get herself back onto the podium in the conference championships with another victory for the Mountaineers. On to the men's 100-yard breaststroke now before we head into the 200-yard freestyle relay. Kyler Alcibar, the New Jersey native, came in 27th in the prelims in the 100-yard breaststroke in this event a season ago, entrusted with the 100-yard breaststroke here. He came in 26th place in the ECAC Open Championships last spring in this event. Adam Jaza for Mount St. Mary's in lane number 5 with the lead at the midway point. Jaza has had a very good meet so far. Deji Jones of American in lane number 6 trying to join the top group as Ivan Chandrenko in lane number 3 climbing in towards the top group. Alcibar has a convoy of AU swimmers trying to help him on rather, as he tries to chase down Adam Jaza, but Jaza's lead continues to open up, and Adam Jaza is going to win it for Mount St. Mary's. Strong close to the meet for the Mountaineers as Alcibar comes in second. And Ivan Chandrenko in third for Mount St. Mary's.
Mount St. Mary's, Adam Jaza. Thank you, swimmers. Please clear the pool.
We are now on to the 200-yard freestyle relay. One of the most exciting events to wrap things up as we finish out this dual meet on senior day between Mount St. Mary's and American.
200-yard freestyle relay, Mr. Referee.
Mount St. Mary's won silver in this event in their conference championships last year with Lazari, Madison Murphy, Theodora Kenapoulou, and Megan Spiker. Their A team has Murphy, Cece Hetzel, Agin, and Gabriella Douglas in lane number 3. Americans A team in lane number 4 is Marin Pretty, Grace Gilbert, Lucy Penna, and Dylan Moulton. And it is Marin Pretty entrusted with a big role today with no Piper Crosby, who is out to the lead after one leg. Now it's Grace Gilbert in the pool for American, trying to hold on the lead at the moment. Dylan Moulton is going to be the anchor leg for the A team on her senior day. What a story it could be if she wraps things up with a victory for the Eagles. And right now, Gilbert has her out to the edge right now, and her team out to the edge right now. Sizable lead as Lucy Penna is into the pool. Battle for second place in lane number 3. Cece Hetzel gets Hannah Agin in the pool in second place. Now Agin has to go and try to chase down Lucy Penna. And there's a lot of work to do. Penna, at just 19 years of age, still with the lead, but here comes Agin trying to close things down on Penna. Here comes the senior Dylan Moulton, honored before the meet on her senior day with a chance to close things out for AU. The A team in lane number 4, and Moulton is well on her way. Gabriella Douglas in lane number 3 for Mount St. Mary's won't have enough time to try to reel her in. There's just not enough pool left, as here comes Dylan Moulton on her senior day to wrap up one more win at Fraley Pool for the Eagles. In second place, Gabriella Douglas. In third place, AU's B team with Haley Reese. But what a story. Dylan Moulton on senior day, entrusted with the anchor leg, and came home lightning quick to wrap up a victory for the Eagles. The emotions that must be with Dylan Moulton right now, after that kind of performance. Maren Pretty got her out to a great start.
24th and final of class.
And now we're on to the final event of the day. Mount St. Mary's won silver in this event as well. Couple of returners from that silver medal performance for Mount St. Mary's' A-team in lane number 3 as Parker Koenig, Austin Toland, and Lucas Hancock all return from that silver medal performance. It is Gospodinov, though, who is in the pool first for Mount St. Mary's in lane number 3, fighting for it with AU in lane number 4. They are neck and neck through the first leg. Now it's Antonio Gurry, who is in the pool for Mount St. Mary's' B team in lane number 5, and Parker Koenig, who's been phenomenal for Mount St. Mary's in the pool for the Mount A team in lane number 3. AU trying to fight for some positioning in second place right now in lane number 4 as they get the handoff off to Austin Toland in the pink cap with room to operate in lane number 3 as the Mountaineers will try to get this final victory of the meet. Toland with a lead of about a body length on AU's A-team in lane number 3. Now it's closing down to about half a body length, just about one stroke. But in the pool now for Mount St. Mary's, Lucas Hancock with a chance to close things out strong for the Mountaineers in lane number 3. AU still trying to put the pressure on in lane number 4, but Hancock, who was the third leg of that silver medal winning team in the MAAC championships last year. Here is the anchor leg going to close out the final event of the night with a Mount St. Mary's victory. AU in second, and the Mount B team with John Haskins as the anchor in lane number 5 in third. Final swimmers coming home, and that will wrap up this dual meet as Mount St. Mary's comes up with the victory in the final event on senior day. AU with a really strong meet. They're going to have to tabulate up the scores. But here on senior day, stories abound. Peyton Thurman with a really strong performance, as was Maggie Fanning as well on the diving side of things. And how about Dylan Moulton to wrap things up, as Moulton comes up with the victory on the anchor leg of her final event at Fraley Pool, as AU wins the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. We'll step aside and come back to wrap things up here at Fraley Pool as AU finishes up their senior day meet against Mount St. Mary's here in DC. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Great to see you. Yes, you'll be. Are you announcing the invite? Awesome. Okay, great. Bye, Chris.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Ben Curtis here poolside after American Senior Day meet against Mount St. Mary's, here with AU head coach Garland Bartlett. Coach, on Senior Day, always a lot of emotions. How did you see your team kind of temper those emotions, but also use them on a big day?
They just got really excited. I said, as I told them, swim for the seniors. They've been here for 4 years. They've seen everything. And so I think they were just really excited to race with them in their home pool one more time.
Once the calendar kind of turns to 2026, you're starting to think about conference championships a little bit more. What do you see from this meet that you're going to take into February?
That our training trip to Puerto Rico paid off, all the hard work they did last week. They looked really, really good today. I think they're in great shape, so I think once we start to taper and fine-tune some things, they're going to be lights out at conference.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about Puerto Rico as well. It had to be just a phenomenal experience, not only in the pool, but just for the locker room as well, to kind of come together a little bit more. Talk about how you've seen that, not just in the pool, but the camaraderie of the group as well.
Yeah, so we were supposed to leave January 3rd for Puerto Rico the day. We weren't able to fly in, so there was a little bit of chaos for 2 days figuring out if we were going to go or not. And then when we finally got on the flight, everyone was so excited, and I think that brought us closer together to appreciate it a little more, knowing we might not have been able to go. And so they all came together. We had a really great trip, and we've been able to carry that into the rest of the season.
Coach, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That'll wrap things up from AU's Senior Day meet against Mount St. Mary's.